We got Momo! Spoilers for episode 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. It happened at the end, but I need to start with it. The fight with Avatar Kyoshi. It's one of those rare moments where I was actually staring in awe at my screen. And say what you want about visual effects. I am not a special effects artist. I do not see the problems that you are seeing. I think it looked great. But beyond that, I do think that this fight scene was so good because it appealed to new fans as well as old fans. And I don't know how many of you have been in the Avatar fandom for that long, but Avatar Kyoshi has become a bit of an icon. Compared with other avatars like Roku and Aang, who see fighting as only when absolutely necessary, Kyoshi is not that. Kyoshi seems to be the epitome of murder is good. And Kyoshi was a fighter and a protector, an incredibly badass. And in the original cartoon, we get a bit of a look into what she can do when she created Kyoshi Island. But we actually got to see her fight here. And not only was it really cool to see a fully realized Avatar using all of the elements to the maximum ability, it was also a good glimpse into what Aang could become if he stops running from his destiny. So while the show may have other little issues, that fight scene, 10 out of 10. No notes, loved every second of it. My main issue is Katara's character, and this is led on to into episode 2. And I think I would have less of an issue with her character if she wasn't almost fading into the back compared to the other characters. Which is so against what Katara's character is. Katara's character is such a key force in the original series. As much as Aang is the avatar and Sokka is the leader, Katara is the anchor of the group. She keeps them all together and she keeps them driving forward and she keeps them sane. And I don't feel like we're getting that side of Katara just yet. But again, I said I'd reserve my final judgment until I got to the end of the show, and so I will do that, but I am a little bit cautiously worried. But Suki! I love Suki. I loved Suki in the original show. I love Suki in the live action show. Suki can do no wrong. One change I did notice, and I actually am not that mad about, but I do understand why some people would be mad about, is that they made Suki as interested in Sokka as he was in her. Or at least they made it more obvious that she was interested in Sokka. And they gave her nervousness and they gave her awkwardness. And so when she interacted with Sokka, she really didn't know how to do it. And in the original series, Suki is very much the leader, the warrior. She doesn't seem to have that much of an interest in Sokka up until the point where she teaches him. But her and Sokka have that brilliant awkwardness. And in that one scene when Sokka was showing her how to use the boomerang and she absolutely wiped the floor with him by using the fan, he was absolutely perfect. He was exactly as I imagined him to be. He was boasting himself up without realizing what he was actually up against. And Suki in return absolutely showed him up because she thought that was the best way to impress someone. You do better than them. And for those saying they got together too fast because they got together at the end of the episode when they kissed, I will say that in the original show, in their only episode together in season 1, at the end of that episode, they also kiss. And yes, there are different rules for live action than there are for cartoon. You have to have them develop a little bit more to make it more believable in live action. But that is why I think they made the choice to make Suki as interested in Sokka as he was in her. And going back to the Southern Air Temple was genuinely heartbreaking and as traumatic as I think it should have been. And seeing Gyatso in the same type of way that we saw him in the cartoon, oh my god. This episode had less exposition than the previous one, and in hindsight, I am glad that they got rid of all the exposition in the first one, though I do think they still could have done it better. But now it seems that we can focus on the action. And I might be jumping the gun a little bit here. They might do more exposition. They might be really bad of exposition throughout the whole show. But for episode 2, it was quite good. There wasn't really that much. At least not so much that I was actually noticing it. Zuko, Iroh, and now Zhao continue to shine. All of them. Zhao is just as calculating and self-inflating as he was in the original show. And I really, really love the way that they are showing Zuko and Iroh's relationship. Just from looks alone, you can already tell that they care deeply about each other, but Zuko is much more focused on finding the Avatar and regaining his honor, and Iroh is constantly only ever focused on Zuko. While I do miss the whimsy and the childishness of the original show, I think if I wanted that, I would just watch the original show. I don't think the side quests would fit in here. I think it would detract from the very serious nature that the show is putting out. Also, we knew that the show was going to be targeted at adults, so we can't expect it to have the same childish humor, though I am glad that especially in this episode they do have humor. Sokka is very much the comedic relief character and he is bringing his A game. Are there issues with the writing? Yes. Does the dialogue feel a little bit stilted at times? Yes. Otherwise, I'm really enjoying the show. And as far as adaptations go, this is proving to be very promising because for the most part, it is building on from the story that we know, then compared to taking away from it. Let me know what you guys think. On to episode 3.